freeze हो गया unmuting.
हाँ, I figured out. आपका response नहीं आ रहा था because your image is also frozen, so that's okay. Okay, Sushant and Saili, आप दोनों में से कौन सा ग्रुप जाएगा पहले? Just mutually decide and tell me.
We can go group 7.
Yes.
Group 7 can go, ma'am.
Okay, Saili, your group is there.
I'm just checking 1 minute.
Yeah. Akanksha, stay on camera entire session. Dhanashree,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
are-
Previous lecture I was out. That's why my camera was off. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Dhanashree, you also stay on camera, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, actually, we are group 7 only. Our group.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought you said group 7 can go, meaning Saili's group.
Our group.
Okay, Saili,
Is
so
everyone
okay,
here?
let's let them do first, and then after that, your group can go. Okay. So let me share. Give sharing rights. Yes, Sushant. Everybody come
Yes,
on
ma'am. Ansika, you
camera.
can share.
Cherian.
Sushant, I must share.
Yeah, you can share the screen.
Yes.
Ma'am, shall we start?
Yes, please start.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Let me start with a quote by Goldie Hawn. The only
I'm
thing
sorry,
that will make you
time-
happy.
Sorry, Sushant.
Yes,
Somebody
sure.
needs to keep time. Gaurav, are you? Can you keep the time, please? 10, 12, 15. Yeah. Sorry, Sushant. Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So the only thing that will make you happy is being happy with who you are. On this note, I, Sushant Tambi, along with my team, is here today to present the top 10 countries based on happiness index. Let's first meet the team. It's Akansha Sehgal, Anshika Chaudhary, Dhanashree Kumeria, Sushant Tambi, Gamini Farsi, Harsh Parekh, and Pranali Kudale. Now, taking a look at the introduction, let's know about what actually is the Happiness Report. The World Happiness Report is a publication of the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network. It contains articles and rankings of national happiness based on respondent ratings of their own lives, which the report also correlates with various quality of life factors. These factors are basically GDP per capita, life expectancy at birth, generosity, freedom of life choices, corruption perception, and social support. This report primarily uses data of the Gallup World Poll. They are based on the answers to the main life evaluation questions which are asked in the poll. This is known as a Cantril ladder. People are asked to rate themselves from a pointer of 0 to 10, 0 being the worst and 10 being the best. Now, let's take a look at the data. Finland had been ranked the happiest country in the world for 4 times in a row. Also, we can see that Austria is ranked at position 10th with a happiness score of 7.268. Now, we might be thinking, where does our country, that is India, rank? The rank of India is 139th position with a score of 3.819. There is a graph that is shown on the right hand side of the screen. It shows the downfall of the score of India. Now, the further slides and in-depth experience will be given by my teammates. Over to you, Harsh.
Thank you, Sushant. So, Finland, as Sushant said, for 4 consecutive years, Finland has been named the happiest country in the world by the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network. So, what is the reason? What are the reasons behind the Finland being the happiest country in the world? So, everybody has access to good education, income, and wealth differences are relatively small. What are some parameters for Finland? So Finland has topped the list of 149 countries in the World Happiness Report, and an index ranked on likes of GDP, uh, health, life expectancy, corruption or bureaucracy. Also, Finland came out very well due to its low crime levels. Finland also has an universal care system, which has a significant factor in how happy its citizens feel. So, with the country's commitment to closing the gender pay gap as well as high quality education also determined. People in Finland also tend to have realistic expectation for their lives. The economy in the Finland has been sustainable, and because of that, the people in the Finland or the citizens of the Finland have the realistic expectations of their life because of the political, because not of the political pressure or not of the the economy has been sustained so well. Country's public school system, which rarely tests children, is among the best in the world. So Finland has been named as the best education in the world. If we compare India, India has been following the traditional method of teaching methods, giving students assignments or the work, or taking examinations, being examining them. But here in Finland, the students or the children are being given the case studies or the real life examples or real life situations where they have to tackle the various situations. So by that, the students or the children might grow well. College is absolutely free in Finland. That's amazing, right? Here in India, the students are paying a lakhs of rupees into the premium colleges to get the good pay packages. But here, college is free. There's a good universal healthcare system, and childcare is also affordable. Also, Finland has been one of the least affected European countries. So while going through that COVID cases, Finland currently 4,89,000 positive cases are there. But if we see the death ratio, death is only 1,900. 1,900 people have been recorded or have been, they have been caused, they have been severely affected by the COVID cases, and the recovery rate is 96%. Now, I would like to mention a point which is not mentioned in the PPT. In India, we always talk about the true women empowerment, women skills. Women should be women in India should be not only focused on house chores but also the economy. So, in true women empowerment, New Finland cabinet ministers is led by women majorly, with four of them, four women in the cabinet ministries are in their 30s. The Prime Minister of Finland is a lady, who is Sanna Marin, who is also 34 years old only. So this is also a point where Finland has been topped. Next slide, please. Denmark. Denmark is considered as the second most happiest country in the world, with the 33 hours work in a week, and the minimum wages which start is $20. Here is the same example: free universities and medical care, free childcare and low level of corruption. Also, the interest rate in Denmark is expected to be minus 0.5%. Only limited countries are there who are having their negative interest rates, ma'am, wherein you go to banks and the banks give the money to you when you don't have to pay interest. Banks will pay interest to you. That's a negative interest rate. Denmark is one of the country. The country gained number 2 in 2020 from number 3 in 2021 in the happiness index, and it also remains consistent in the place within the top 5 happiest countries in the world. So what are the parameters for Denmark? Low corruption, less crimes, great education, free healthcare, less unemployment rate, and of course the economy is good. I would now request my other teammates to carry forward the PPT.
So now the third is Switzerland. So Switzerland has performed very well in WHR, taking the top spot in 2015, but it dropped down to sixth place in 2019. But now it has the third place again. So as we all know, Switzerland is very famous for its natural beauty with the Swiss Alps, Lake Geneva, and the Eiger and the Matterhorn. So considering the report suggestion in 2020, there's a direct link between the green spaces and happiness. So happiness is very much related to greenery here. So it makes a lot of sense to see this beautiful nation at the third place. Plus, it's the home of chocolates. So as we all know how chocolates make people happy. So we can also consider this as the reason for the third position of Switzerland. So coming to the fourth one, it's Iceland. So here this nation is loved by travelers for its dramatic landscape filled with hot springs, volcanoes, geysers, and stunning coastal waterfalls. So secondly, it's equality and inclusion. So there is a culture of acceptance and quality that contributes to the happiness of these people. So there is a pride called Reykjavik Pride. This is the only gay pride that has never protested, and the local people are very proud of this. So, and there is also equality in the way that it is banned there to actually actually it is illegal to pay men and women differently for the same job. Plus it's transparency and justice. The justice there has like number of revolts there after the justice given is very low, and low crime levels, natural beauty, as I told, quality education. So here in Iceland, people do not prefer sending their children to private schools, because it's not that sending to state schools is very different there, or they have to pay low fees or something. Even the wealthiest people send their children to the state schools, because the education is very much constant there. So private or public doesn't matter so much there. And a responsive government. Happiness is evenly distributed through the majority of the population. There is no great divide between the well-being of those with the most and those with the least. This equality makes Icelanders some of the most satisfied people in the world. So now I would like Dhanashri to continue.
So 10 minutes are over, 15 minutes and maximum 20 minutes you need to wrap up. So keep that in mind.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We will try. So coming to Netherlands, which ranks at the 5th position in the World Happiness Index. So the thing with the Netherlands is that we measure the happiness index based on 6 parameters. So in case of Netherlands, it ranked highest among the generosity category, and also it has an impressive lack of perceived corruption. Also, Netherlands ranks tops in a work-life balance. People living in the Netherlands, basically Dutch people, so they believe that Netherlands have a really impressive work-life balance. They have a very good work structure. They have a flexible hours, and they also give paid leaves in their course or duration of a work. Also, the women over there have recently gained a right to cut working hours without having any consequences from their employers. And combined with the UNICEF reporting that Dutch children are more satisfied with their lives. In Netherlands, they mainly focus on happiness of the children. Like they do not impose them in a structured learning, which we have till the age of 6 years. They are not put into the structured learning phase. So here we have that we learn from the perspective of passing the exam. But in Netherlands, nothing this sort of things happen. So Netherlands, one thing about Netherlands, it is also known as a city of cyclists. Like cycling is their main objective. People are more health conscious, more physically fit, and they aim to be live a healthy life. So in fact, in a blog I was reading, it was given that Prime Minister reports to work via cycle. So they are that much oriented towards the physical activity. Coming to next slide, please. Norway. Next slide, please. Anshika. Yeah, Norway. Norway ranks at 6th. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, Norway ranks at 6th place in terms of World Happiness Index with a score of 7.393. People over there believe that their government take care of the people over there. Government provide a free medical facilities as well as education facilities. In fact, Norway have the best education facilities among the top 15 countries among the world. And also the Norway has a low crime rate. According to one of the report, they say there are only 4,000 prisoners in the Norway, because government of Norway is so good at handling the prisoner that their enlightenment approach towards handling the prisoner, they teaches them a new skills and give them a trust and responsibility, that the rate of reoffending the crime is really low. So they give them a work to do, but at the same time they are given a free time to enjoy themselves. So that's about the Norway. Handing over to Pranali.
Thank you, Dhanashri. Coming to next country, Sweden. Sweden ranks at 6th place with a score of 7.363, with a higher lack of corruption score than all but 4 countries worldwide. Sweden has consistently ranked high in the list thanks to the 2 key elements of happiness: strong social support networks and perceived honesty accountability of its institutions. That is not changed due to the pandemic, though Sweden's controversial approach to the pandemic has been widely criticized. While Sweden's population is most dense in the capital of Stockholm and major cities of Gothenburg and Malmö, the country provides its citizens with access to nature, a high life expectancy, strong social support, and life freedom, among other qualities. Next slide, please. Coming over to Luxembourg, it ranks 8 out of 149 countries in World Happiness Report 2021. The happiness score includes measures such as GDP, social support, corruption levels, and personal freedom. Luxembourg has been ranked 8th from 10 in 2020. The rise is mainly thanks to the good economic performance of the country in period of crisis. Thank you, and over to you, Gamini.
Thank you, Pranali. So talking about New Zealand, New Zealanders are basically called Kiwi. It happened during the First World War. The army was referred to as Kiwi and the name stuck. Also, Kiwi happens to be their national birds. So Kiwi basically has a very high level of trust, both institutional wise and amongst the fellow citizens. Also, it is the only country that does not belong from Europe to make it to the top happiest countries in the 9th spot with a happiness rate of 7.27. They happen to be very secured among themselves. They seem to care less about status in particular. Also, they assure that working is more important than living to work. So they assure that working to live is more important than living to work. This is something that I believe myself. Also, Kiwi, they have a very secluded paradise and a crazy about nature kind of a lifestyle. So they would rather go out for a hiking or a swim or a bike ride than enjoy and experience it on a big screen virtually. In a report in 2021, the country recorded about 2,150 cases and just 25 cases of death was reported. That is 1%, which is very low. So it shows the relative minor social and economic disruptions compared to other countries worldwide. Talking about Austria, next slide, please. Yeah, so when it comes to Austria, it is the 10th happiest country in the world with a score of 7.26%, which is just 1%, like 0.1% less than New Zealand. Austria is one of the most beautiful European nation, known for their mountains and skiing and the musical city of Vienna. The country has a very high GDP per capita ratio, a very high life expectancy rate, and they have the freedom to make their own choices, life choices, which accounts for a very high level of standard of living also. So basically, it is a high income country with a premium lifestyle. In a survey that was conducted in late April 2020, it was reported that citizens feel less sad and stressed during the lockdown and other COVID-related restrictions in Austria compared to rest of the countries. And also, not to forget that Austria is a country which is quite famous for wine. So maybe that is one of the reasons why they score such high happiness rate. Over to you, Akansha. Thank you.
Thank you, Gamini. Next slide, please, Ansika. So conclusion, happiness index is basically a survey instrument that measures or assesses the happiness, the well-being, and the aspects of sustainability among the people of a country. So as we've already shown in the PPT, the top 10 happy countries as per the happiness index are Finland, Denmark, Switzerland, Iceland, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Luxembourg, New Zealand, and Austria. So mostly all Nordic countries are constantly among the top 10 countries of the world. And that is because of their well-functioning democracy, their free education and healthcare, and high priority of life balance. So a few common reasons as to why, a few common characteristics for these countries to be among the top 10 for happiness is because of their high GDP per capita. It's because of a strong social support system of friends and family. There is generosity and healthy life expectancy. And lastly, it is freedom to make their own life choices and decisions. So lastly, India's happiness score is 3.82 and its rank is 139 in the world as of 2021. So it's pretty far behind, and the reasons for it are because of an increase, a massive increase in population. The GDP per capita, even though it's rising, it's still not matching the because of the increase in population. And then there's women's safety issues because of multiple crimes. It's not a happy country yet. And there's a rising cost of health care and education. And lastly, there is an increase in corruption as well. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, please give them a big hand. We all feel very happy after your presentation.
मैम अच्छा बहुत अच्छा presentation था इनका.
Yeah, very well. All the points that you brought together for all the countries was awesome. Like really very interesting, and it kind of you were glued to it. Yes, Sudhanshu.
Ma'am, but we see only the superficial things that they want to portray, like all the Norwegian country or Nordic country, they have a lying problem. Like most of their GDP come from the natural resources they obtain from the ground, and the society is mostly homogeneous. They are not as diverse as the countries they are trying to compare, like India, China, everything different thing. So there's a concept called Dutch disease, ma'am. So all the Norwegian country are affected by the Dutch disease, but these things make life better. It will help you in getting best social welfare programs and everything. But in the broader aspects, it damages the country. It damages the whole economy to a greater extent that we don't see or take count into in our discussions when we talk about the happiness index.
We can always take those things into account, but everything will have its positives and its areas.
Yes, ma'am. Considering the facts presented by the group, I think this is one of the best presentation as on date.
Thank you. And just things that you remember. What did you remember from the presentation? If audience can tell me.
Ma'am, like Anshika spoke about Iceland. That was very good. She mentioned about the traveling point, that how it is good for traveling. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I like
also, ma'am, she spoke about the Switzerland.
Yes.
I was only knowing that Switzerland is famous for places to visit, the nature it has, but I wasn't knowing it was also famous for chocolates. So,
and ma'am, they also put the point that the male female get the equal pay in the salary was something very important, crucial. And the one consistent thing in the PPT was that why this country is happy. They have put all the parameters, like criminal rate is low, they are getting equal salary, even they have raised the gay issues, like people are accepting the culture of that is something very good, I feel, about that. Thank you.
And I like how Harsh explained why Finland is the happiest country in the world because of a good education system, and colleges are free. Unlike India, we have to pay a lot amount of money, but there the colleges are free. Then low crime rates. Then healthcare are affordable. I like these.
Yes.
Ma'am, one more point that
Harsha
Anshika
also
mentioned.
Yes, Deepika.
Ma'am,
Deepika, then
one point-
Anuj, then Mosam. Yes, Deepika.
Yes, ma'am. And one point that Anshika mentioned is the importance of state schools. As we see in India,
Public
most
schools,
of
yeah?
the yes, ma'am. Most of the people thought that only our child will only get the proper education in private schools, but she exactly mentioned the importance of state schools. And one more point, as in Sweden, what happened was कि कोविड के टाइम पे उनका जो हैंडल करने का तरीका था वो बहुत ज्यादा क्रिटिसाइज हुआ था। वहां पे गवर्नमेंट ने बहुत लेटली लॉकडाउन लगाया था, जिस वजह से उनका मॉर्टलिटी रेट भी काफी गिर गया था। पर स्टिल अगर नोटिस किया जाए तो उनका हैप्पीनेस इंडेक्स वहीं का वहीं रहा, वो नहीं गिरा था।
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Deepika. Anuj, you wanted to add something.
Yes, ma'am. What I thought as a layman ki happiness country means कि लोग कितना हंसते हैं, but इनके PPT when I also compared this with the world most unhappiest country, which is Afghanistan. So I came to know that the various factors involved होते हैं, such as GDP per capita, social support, लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी, फ्रीडम, तो ये सब ही मैटर करता है कि हम कैसे लिस्ट करते हैं कंट्री को। तो पहले मेरे को लगता था कि अपने एशियन कंट्रीज में भी तो लोग हंसते होंगे, तो बाय नोमैडिक कंट्रीज को ये लोग लिस्ट करते हैं, तो इन्होंने ये डाउट क्लियर किया।
हाँ, GDP per capita is one of the things, like when we consider total GDP और हम GDP per capita, if you remember हमने वो उस पे भी presentations किए थे, and Luxembourg and these are those countries जिनका GDP per capita टॉप में आता है। लग्जमबर्ग भी आया था यहाँ पे, जो एक्चुअल में टॉप नंबर 1 पे है। लग्जमबर्ग, स्विट्जरलैंड, यही रहते हैं ऊपर। मौसम, you also wanted to add in it something, and Yesha, you also wanted.
Yes. I like the point that Harsh gave, that other than being the top happiest country, Finland, it is also the country that tops the list of women on employment.
Yes.
Empowerment, sorry. Yeah.
Empowerment, yes, definitely.
And another thing is, ma'am, I was a bit surprised that Bhutan was not in the top 10 list, as it calculates gross national happiness.
Yeah, it is not in the top 10 maybe, but maybe in quite near to top 10. Yeah,
Ma'am, it is an exception, like it does not come in top 10 because of some basic factors, but as an exception, Bhutan can be considered as one of the happiest countries.
Yes.
Also, ma'am, there is a certain thing, if we so basically if we consider the same Scandinavian countries, top list mein aata hai, but to be very honest, the life in the Scandinavian countries is one of the toughest in the whole world, right? Constant harsh winters, blizzards, they constantly face that, but people there don't complain against ki ye ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai, ye ho raha hai, aaj ho raha hai, government ko chahiye nahi. People do their own job and people make it done. So that is, I think, one of the biggest lessons as Indians we can take from at least the Nordic countries, ki yeah, there will be difficult situations, but you have to come around and go through it. You can't be dependent on the government to do and ask everything for you, ki yaar government ye bara diya, government wo kar diya. Basically that we are used to that, right? Government has midday meal band kar diya. Are kya hai, midday meal band kar diya to khana band ho gaya kya? It is, we should stop complaining by seeing them.
Okay.
Ma'am, but the
Gaurav
very
is quite
very common thing we saw during the entire research, that somewhere happiness is related to natural beauty, like how happy the beauty of the place is, it matters.
Potential, then India has a lot of potential from that point.
Ma'am, replying on to Gaurav's
low
point.
crime rate,
Yeah, Anshika, go ahead.
corruption, these all matters the most.
Sorry, Sakshi, come again.
Ma'am, low crime rate and corruption, these all matter the most.
But as a human being,
Population also matters a lot.
Ma'am, but as a normal human beings, we say that we don't like corruption. But if a policeman, traffic havaldar will let you gain 50 rupees, will rather pay that 50 rupees than pay the whole fine. You are in the wrong, but you will rather pay 50, and then we shout at there is a corruption, there is a corruption. But
no, Sushant,
we are also a part of the corruption.
I disagree with that point there. India is changing. I know my friends
obviously
who ask for a challan and they request कि मेरे से ज़्यादा लो, मैं 500 रुपए दूंगा, मेरे को चालान दो, मैं खुद देखा हूँ.
But my friend Gaurav, not everyone is like your friend and you, na. Even I,
ma'am.
like
I'm interfering in between.
I totally agree with
I
you.
just want I just want the debate to happen. Hence, I'm again repeating the line again. The only thing that will make you happy is being happy with who you are. That's it.
True. Where you are and all, we all can, even in India, wherever the happiness index puts us, but we can definitely be happy. That is one point. But yes, there are a lot of things we can take from this presentation as Indians, that where are the things that we can change our attitude. And as you rightly all said, it's our attitude. We are victims of corruption, but we are the ones who can stop it.
मैम जैसे मेंशन किया था एक पॉइंट में कि प्रिजनर्स को भी स्किल सेट सिखाया जाता है तो ठीक है
हाँ, that was a very interesting point.
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely.
नॉर्वे
That
का था
comes
मैम
from- yeah, and that is one thing that I as a counselor also connect with, because the theory that I totally believe in, or which kind of changed my life in psychology, that theory also says that you know, everybody in the world, everybody में से कुछ कम लोगों को माइनस करो जिन लोग का एक्चुअल में केमिकल चेंजेस होता है ब्रेन में. Other than them, everybody has the right intention. कोई कितना भी तुमको गलत लगे काम करता हुआ दिखे, but everybody has right intention. So to respect that, and then to help anybody who is on the wrong, you can always help them and make them show learn the new path, and everybody can change. That is what psychology majorly believes in. Unless and until there are few people, yes, unke where you can definitely chemical changes हो जाते हैं brain में, that is why it's irreversible. जहाँ पे आप उनको medications पे ही आपको उनको डालना पड़ेगा. But other than that, most of the people can be changed. So that's a very beautiful point again. Okay, so let's move on to the next presentation. Saili, your group?
Yes, ma'am.
How much time do you need? 12, 15 minutes?
Hope to complete it in 15 minutes.
Okay, so who will keep time? Aditya, can you keep time? Okay, thank you.
Pratna, can I start?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you see my screen?
I can't see the slide.
Yeah, just go full screen, Pratna.
Visible?
Yeah, it's visible. So very good afternoon to everyone. To start with, I would like to thank Taxi ma'am for giving us this opportunity. We are group number 3, and today I, Saili, along with Matthew, Prarthana, Pranali, Ujjwal, Kinnari, and Himanshu, we will be presenting on 10 failed ideas, products, or projects. So the first product or project, next slide, please. Okay, so the first product or project was which had failed was the new Coke. So in the year 1985, the company had decided to launch a new Coke, a new variant of Coke. And after an initial SIP testing on around 2 lakh subjects and getting a positive response from them, the company had decided to launch the product in the market. The product, however, did not get the desired response from the buyers. And in fact, the new Coke lost a lot of share, market share for the company, as the buyers had made a move from Coke to Pepsi. Upon studying the results for the fall of market share, it was realized that even though the new Coke tasted better than the original one, people couldn't connect to it emotionally. So the lesson that was learned here was perception is stronger than reality. So just because during the SIP test, a lot of people had approved the product does not mean that it will be well accepted in the market. The reality is far from, the perception is far from reality. The next was to ignore the competitors. So Coke had decided to walk the path of Pepsi without realizing that the two products have different emotions in the buyer's head. And the third is about the emotional connect. Pratana, the slide behind. Okay, so the next product is behind. One more. Yeah, Airbus 380. So in this, they wanted to build the world's largest passenger aircraft, and to build a plane, separate pieces of the plane were shipped to the assembly station at Hamburg, While assembling the pieces, it was realized that the pieces didn't fit well. The use of different CAD was one of the main problems here. From this, the lesson that was learned that even if the team is working from different departments or divisions, it is very important that everybody should be on the same page, and especially on the same project. And the second lesson was that they should have well-defined systems. Now I would request Pranali to continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Saidi. Let's look at the next one. McDonald's McDLT. In 1984, McDonald's tried a new way of packaging its burger that gave customers the option to assemble it by themselves. For McDLD, McDonald's has put the meat and bottom bun on the one side of the styrofoam container and the top bun and toppings on the other, because people were complaining that their veggies get soggy because of the heat of the burger patty. But in the early 90s, people started to learn the harmful effects of styrofoam on the environment. And after getting so many complaints from people, McDonald's discontinued the McDLT. Next slide, please. Amazon's Fire Phone. The Fire Phone is arguably Amazon's biggest flop. Amazon first released its smartphone in July 2014, but it just couldn't compete against iPhones and Androids. At one point, Amazon tried selling it for 99 cents and it still didn't work. Eventually, Amazon wrote off $170 million loss from the phone, and as of September, the phone was no longer available on the website of Amazon. Over to you, Ujjwal.
Yeah, Sony Betamax video cassette recorder. During the 1970s, Sony developed a machine designed to deliver home video taping equipment. The machine used Betamax technology and hit the store in 1975. But a year later, Sony's rival JVC came out with the VHS short for video home system, former VCR. By 1977, there were 4 more Japanese electronic companies manufacturing and marketing VHS-based machines. The JVC VHS was lighter and cheaper than the Sony Betamax. The earlier Betamax tapes played for 1 hour, whereas VHS played for 2 hours, enough time for a movie. This was perhaps the most important reason in hindsight. Sony never understood the consumer, and benefit they sought from their technology was to watch movies. Perhaps if they had understood this, they would have developed a 2-hour tape instead of 1. Next slide, please. Prarthana.
Just a second.
Google Lens. Google developed Google Glass. Google developed a smart wearable product named Google Glass. This was known to be a Google moonshot technology. The image behind the invention was utterly brilliant, but the product didn't came to stand on its expectations. The product was highly criticized around every aspect, from price to safety. People were more concerned whether it was safe to use Google Glass every day, because as per the description, the product was expected to radiate some radiations very close to our minds and eyes. Google Glass could capture any image at any time, so there were some serious concerns for the privacy of lives. It could capture anything randomly without knowledge of other people. It had only 2 functions: capturing pictures and quickly searching anything on the internet in seconds. So therefore, it didn't bring any major benefits to the customers because it do not have any other use. Google Glass had a fixed battery for limit of 4 hours, which means you need to keep on charging the glass after every 4 hours. It also cost around $1,500. Although people were highly disappointed with the product, Google didn't minimize the pricing. Google Glass only worked properly with a native English speaker from US to UK, but when it comes to speaking or commanding in any other language, Google Glass wouldn't recognize it. There were some critical concerning issues regarding the heating of glass also. Over to you, Matthew.
Thank you, Ujjwal. Next.
Just a second, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ujjwal. The next project we're going to be talking about is called Forest City. It is a huge project. You can see in the pictures, this is what it was supposed to look like. And the bottom image is what it, part of it, what it actually has already been built. So Forest City is located in Malaysia. Now, this was meant to be a green, futuristic, smart city that has risen from completely reclaimed land. And it was supposed to support and completely built artificial forest system. And the buildings were supposed to have green rooftops where they would have entire vertical gardens, which would provide like an entire jungle experience. Even the roads were split into two layers, where the lower layer of the road would be only for traffic and parking, whereas the upper layers would be for parks and facilities and for public transport. So the city was supposed to be powered with only renewable energy, and it was supposed to be completed by 2035 at a cost of $100 billion. Now the project is mainly being funded through China. And because of this, the Chinese citizens had a free pass into the city during the construction. And many wealthy Chinese citizens who could not afford homes in their own countries were investing in Forest City. Now, because of this, 80% of the owners of the property by 2019 were all Chinese. And even the street signs were in Mandarin. So because of this, native Malaysians could not afford to buy these homes, even though it was located in Malaysia. And the prices were set not with Malaysian markets, but with Chinese markets in mind. And the locals even called this a form of colonialism. Now, the PM later banned foreigners from owning property in the forest city. Now, because of this, many of them sold their properties, left, and this discouraged people who wanted to invest, new investors basically. And then the next major setback was because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and there were worldwide travel bans, and lots of existing owners bailed because of this uncertainty. So now by 2020, less than 500 people were living in Forest City. And now this is a very small number because this city was built to inhabit 7 lakh people. So now the officials have even laid off more than 1,000 workers in the past 1 year since the pandemic. Now, the city was definitely too futuristic to begin with, and it was too politically challenged to succeed anytime soon. And despite the millions and the billions invested, Forest City is a useless mega project. Thank you, and over to Himanshu for the next part.
Thank you, Matthew. Next, we have Samsung Note 7 that was launched in August 2016. Was initially well received. However, it had some serious flaws. The problem with the battery software resulted in the phone catching fire on several occasions, including once on a Southwest Airlines flight, which has to be evacuated. Soon, the Department of the Transportation made it illegal to bring a Note 7 on a commercial flight. By October, after an extremely expensive recall, Samsung suspended worldwide production of Note 7. Next slide, please. Pratna, next slide. Tata Nano. In 2008, India car manufacturer Tata Motors launched the Tata Nano, an ultra-compact hatchback design especially for the domestic Indian market. The company hoped that compact design and low price would make it popular choice. However, the low price tag led to numerous cut corners in production, which resulted in serious safety flaws. Reports of Nano bursting into flames after rare collisions were common in the month after the vehicle debut. Tata ultimately pulled the vehicle from the market entirely. Over to you, Pratna.
Thank you, Himanshu. We would be now looking at this device called as Zune. Zune was bought by the makers of Microsoft in an attempt to replace the market, which was predominant by iPods. But the problem with Zune was, even though they had a very good analytics, and the phone's operating system was very good, it came into the market much later than iPods. iPods by that time had already occupied 3/4 of the music listening community. When Zune debuted, it was a uphill battle since the beginning. So due to bad timing, the product also lacked a lot of innovation. There was scope for it to be better than iPods, but there was a lack of innovation, and insufficient marketing led to the failure of this product. Even though Microsoft tried to, have promoted, it was a failure across the board. So this was it from our end. I hope you guys had a great time.
Please give them a big hand, everybody, and come on camera, everybody. Yes, it was again a very good presentation. I think all the groups have done a great job. I mean, one after each presentation is turning out to be so good. Okay, audience, we'll spend 3 to 5 minutes on this.
Ma'am, as Sally was talking about Coca-Cola, I think the main reason why Coke failed because prior to Coca-Cola, there wasn't any soft drink and people were mostly dependent on the hard drink. So when government there banned liquor, the Coca-Cola started selling their product by using cocaine in their drinks. So that got addictive for years. And even when government have removed the ban from the liquor, they wasn't able to leave Coke, So that's how they used.
No, I was unaware about Zone also. Like Microsoft has launched any product earlier in 2006 for competing with iPod. So that was something new for me.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Ma'am, and that Forest City, Malaysia was also interesting. Although it was in Malaysia, but the majority of population was of Chinese. That was also interesting.
That's a very, very it's a good case study. I think the group definitely did a good job of bringing that out. It's one of the failed projects.
McDonald's one. Yes, ma'am. The McDonald's one was very, very interesting. Actually, I knew the same. Also, ma'am, I would like to point out the greatest failure of any product or any service in the last 10 years. वो मैम इंडिया में ही था वो लोग वो शायद वो सोचा नहीं ऐसे but demonetization I think is one of the by far the greatest failures that would have. Ma'am, how is it politics, ma'am? It can't be politics. It's more of economics.
It is a very political angle to it. It has a very political angle to it. तो उसको तो हम इसमें connect नहीं करेंगे. हम commercial angle से जाते हैं यहाँ पे, ठीक है ना? Yes.
Also, ma'am, Amazon phone that I never knew about it that Amazon ever launched a phone. It was a very new news and fact kind of a thing.
Yes.
Ma'am, even Google Glass, I was so unaware about it. Like you have to change batteries. Just it will run for 4 hours and it will radiate radiation.
It's carcinogenic. Yes.
Carcinogenic.
Yeah, and even Amazon meant both two presentations Amazon came up, right? Yeah. So Amazon, I remember first Amazon came as a book, as a kind of bookseller, and we used to kind of associate Amazon as a bookseller company, and we never thought that Amazon will turn into what it is today.
And Jeff Bezos, ma'am. They spoke about Jeff Bezos as well.
Jeff Bezos, yes.
Ma'am, there's another product which is basically Samsung came up with the smart glasses, but then again Google took over the market just by selling a 500 rupees cardboard and putting 2 lenses in it, and it could convert any application on your phone into a 3D video. You could just put on those cardboard. It's called a Google Cardboard. It was to occupy the entire market, which was, it was a proposition by Samsung, but it was taken over. They sold it for what, $500 a pop. Like, it was just lenses.
Then both of them failed. Both of them must have failed, right?
Both failed.
Both failed. Yes, both failed.
Ma'am, there's also one more thing I wanted to add about the Tata Nano. This was said by Ratan Tata himself towards the end of the run of the Nano, before the Nano was about to be discontinued for good. He himself said that he made a mistake positioning it as the world's cheapest car. He said, I should have called it the world's most affordable car.
Correct.
And because it was not cheapest, because if we take the car on road, uska GST and all, it costed around 1.5 lakh. So it was not the cheapest.
It was not a lakh rupees.
And they promised that they will give us in 1 lakh. So that
anybody would prefer to buy a second-hand car rather than buying a new Nano. Yeah.
And ma'am, one also product was Kingfisher instant beer mix.
हाँ 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 ऐसा भी कुछ है
Yes ma'am.
पानी में डालो and मिलाओ and beer हो गया ready.
Okay, that's really funny. Yeah, okay. Fine then. Let's move on to the next presentation. Which group would like to go next? दो ही बचे हैं
Group
अभी,
1.
right?
Can we go? Ma'am, can we
One
go
and then
next?
group 2.
Group 1.
1, then group 2. Arun, अभी you said आपने अपना एक बोला है, तो you be the last group now.
Thank you.
And appreciate your group for that. Yes, Prabhamit, your group would like to go next.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and who will keep time? Siddesh, can you keep time?
I'm in a part of our group.
So you are in the group. Okay. Sakshi? The Sakshi also has not presented yet. So she might also be in this group.
Ma'am, I can
No,
get.
ma'am. I'm in the group 2.
Hello, ma'am.
So, yeah, Sakshi, I think she is in group 2. So, Sakshi, you do. Alok, आप last group के लिए please time रखना.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for volunteering. Okay.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, member program, me, Yesha, Apurv, Vihang, Anuj, Siddesh, Pratik are going to give a presentation of top 10 stocks, fundamental and technical analysis. So, fundamental analysis is basically evaluating the securities by attempting to measure their intrinsic value by finding their price to earning, price to book ratio. And if we say technical analysis is basically finding out the future price through some graphs and everything. If we see that technical analysis consists of resistance is basically a downward trend. It occurs a downward resistance is where an uptrend is expected from an uptrend expected to pause due to a concentration of supply, and support whereas a downtrend is expected to pause due to a concentration of demand. So when a stock breaks the resistance and move upward, it is called a break. It is called breakout. And when a stock breaks the support and move down, it is called a breakdown. So now I would like to hand over to Siddesh to continue from here.
Thank you very much, Prabhamit. Okay, so let's look at the top 10 stocks. The first one is Reliance. Market capital of Reliance is 15 lakhs 80,000 crores. The PE ratio of Reliance is 31.06, which is not favorable. The favorable PE ratio is between 20 to 25. The PB ratio of Reliance is 2.1, which is also not favorable, as the most favorable PB ratio is 1 or less than 1. Industry PE is at 6.75. ROE of Reliance is 8.52, which is again a lower one, because the most favorable ROE for Reliance is between 11, 10, 15. The EPS of Reliance is 86, which is very good because the most favorable EPS can be considered as above 80. The highest profit recorded for Reliance is 18,549 crores, which was in the last quarter of December 21. So now let's look at the technical analysis of Reliance Industries. As we can see, the Reliance share has a very big resistance zone between 2,390 and 2,350 price level. Reliance struggles a lot in this level, and whenever it breaks, we can see a upward moment or a downward moment. Wherever it goes, there are the levels from where it can go. The closest one in the upside is 2,445, and if it breaks that also, we can assume it can go till 2,500. But we have seen this normal trade in Reliance कि जब वो 2,500 के पास आता है वो गिर ही जाता है, उसमें अंदर selling आ जाती है. So that is the reason we say that whenever Reliance reaches 2,500, it is a sell on rise wala market. So this was about Reliance. Now let's look at the next company, which will be explained by Apurva.
Thank you, Siddesh. Now coming to TCS. So TCS is an Indian multinational information technology service and consulting company founded on 1968. The value of the company is approximately 13.8 lakh crore. That is why it is ranked second in our list. Company's profit earning ratio or the PV ratio is 36.8 and the PV book value ratio is 15.87, which is slightly higher than average profit earning ratio as explained by Siddesh. So now the company's industry PE ratio is 33.9%, which is equal to the company's PE ratio, which means that the company TCS is booming in its sector. The PB ratio of is 15.87, which means the TCS is slightly overvalued. From the below chart we can see that there is a slight dip in the profit, but profit for TCS is increasing every quarter. Now coming to the next slide, which is the technical analysis. As we can see from the graph, the trend line of TCS is TCS share is showing an upward trend and standard at 23% FEB retracement, which is considered to be good. From the graph we can also see that there are minor dips in the share prices, which means it gaining rapidly. The highest point reached is 4,600 and expected to be rise in future. Now coming to the next slide, our third share from the list is HDFC Bank. HDFC is an Indian bank. Yes, HDFC is an Indian banking and financial service company founded in August 1994. The value of the companies is approximately 8.1 lakh crore. That is the market capital. The company's profit earning ratio is 25.4% and PB ratio is 15.87, which is moderate, which means that the price of the shares are correctly valued. The industry P is 12.57, which is less than the company's PE, which is not a good indicator for HDFC Bank. The ROI is 16.949 and EPS is 64.81. From the below graph we can see that profit is increasing, which is a good sign for the investors as well as for the company. Now coming to the next slide, the graph of HDFC shares shows a similar pattern as TCS, but the trend line is less steep. Currently HDFC shares is at its support line, which means we can expect a breakout, and in future it can also go below the support line, which is not a good indication. The highest point reach is 1725 and now it is at 1460. So selling would not be a good option as it is in the support line, and in future it might decrease due to different economical factors like budget and COVID. So that's all from my side. Over to you, Anuj.
Thank you, Apurv. Now I will continue our presentation with a famous quote given by Mr. Narayan Murthy. You don't have to be the son of a rich man to be an entrepreneur. Today, kids are far more willing to take risk because they have seen higher rewards. Founded in 1981 from a capital of just rupees 10,000, they have grown to become $15 billion company with a market capitalization of approximately 7 lakh crore. They pioneered the global delivery model and become the first IT company from India to be listed on NASDAQ and become the only company to create some of India's first salaried millionaires. So let's talk about stock fundamental analysis of Infosys. It has a P ratio of 3.74, which is considered to be moderately high, as the average ratio should be between 20 to 26. The PB ratio for Infosys is 9.56, which is not healthy, as it should be either 1 or less than 1. The industry PV is 33.1 and its ROI is 27.2 with EPS is rupees 50.8. So now let's come to the technical analysis. Next slide, please. So now let's come to the technical analysis of the Infosys. As we can see in the graph, there is a slightly upward trend, but recently due to some internal factor, it had declined to 1736. The highest it has been recorded in 1960. The support line is 38.2%, which is a good indicator. Thank you. So now next slide will be presented by Vihang. Over to you, Vihang.
Thank you, Anuj. So my first share is ICICI Bank. And now, as we can see, the market capital is 5,42,447 crores. The PE ratio is 29.07, which is acceptable, and the PB ratio is 3.2. In addition to that, the industry PE is 12.57, ROA is 13.11, which isn't bad either, and EPS is 31.50 rupees. Now, looking at the fundamental analysis, ICICI Bank is a leading private sector bank in India. The bank's consolidated total assets stood at rupees 14.76 trillion at September 30, 2020. ICICI Bank currently has a network of 5,300 branches and more than 14,000 ATMs across India. As on 31st of June 2022, the fundamentals of ICICI Bank look strong, and hence it may be good for long-term investment. Also, ICICI Bank is also slightly overvalued based on the estimates of intrinsic value, and hence may be a good buying opportunity according to share valuation at this time. At last, at present day, it is trading at a premium of 1,706% based on the estimates of median intrinsic value. Next slide, please. The technical analysis. Now, from the graph, we can clearly see that it will be its sixth attempt to break the streak in upward movement. So if ICICI breaks this channel, then we can see a good upward movement. And when we go into detail, we can see that in the analysis of ICICI Bank, EPS is also increasing and dividend is also increasing. So the investor can invest in the company, but on the other side, the company's intrinsic value is less than the current price, which shows that the share price is overvalued and investors should sell the share. Next slide, please. Now, the next share is of HUL, which is Hindustan Unilever Limited. Here we can see that the market capital is around 5,36,554 crores. The PE ratio is 67.10, which is extremely high and which is definitely not good for the company. The PB ratio is in under permissible limits, which is 11.25. The industry PE is 53.64. ROE stands around 28.61%, which is extremely good, and the EPS is 37.28 rupees. Now, when we look at the fundamental analysis, in March 2021, there has been a steep rise in the overall balance sheet size of HUL, led by a big uplift in reserve components from rupees 7,998 CR to huge rupees 47,434 CR. Thereby, the total shareholders' equity is increased in March 2021. So all the key ratios like ROCE, ROE, ROA, and PV declined drastically in March 2021 on account of improved base effect of shareholders' equity component in the denominator. Also, as we can see that the total fundamental score of HUL is 67 out of 70, which makes it is a fundamentally super strong company. And the valuation score of HUL also stands around 7 out of 10, which means it is fairly valued at the current level. Next slide, please. Now, looking at the technical analysis, according to Agam, we can see that HUL, after a very long struggle, it is again at the same level, that is at the same support line. And previously, few weeks ago, HUL had tried to break the support line in downward direction rally, but couldn't sustain. So now if it breaks, we can see a very healthy downward rally. Also, from this graph, we can conclude that daily price action analysis of HUL based on a short-term time period is negative, but trend is highly volatile. So a longer duration price action analysis might give a better picture of the trend in the stock. Thank you. Over to you, Pratik.
Thank you, Vihang. Next is SBI. SBI is Fortune 500 company. It has it is multinational company, public sector bank. It is the largest and the oldest bank in India with over 200 years of history. SBI has market capitalization of 4,80,412 crores. It has P ratio of 20.85, that which is considered to be the good. PB ratio is slightly more. 1 or below is considered to be the best PB ratio. Industry P is 12.5, which is less than the banking sector. Average PB ratio of banking sector is 20 to 25 times. It has ROE of 18.51%, which is less because 15 to 20% is considered to be the favorable ROE. EPS is 32.11, which is 60% less than the favorable ratio. Over the quarters, company has good profit. Highest profit till date is 8,890 crore, which is in the last quarter, that is December 2021. Next slide, please. Moving on to the technical analysis. The shares of the SBI is consolidating from from long time. It has broken the 517 rupees resistance. Trend line, it is following the trend line, and we can see the upward rally with 50% FBI retrenchment. Next slide, please. HDFC Limited, which was founded in 1933. HDFC Limited is leading housing and finance company. It offers a wide range of loan products. Market capitalization is 4,55,741 crores. PE is excellent, that is 24.03. PB ratio is slightly high, that is 2%, because PB ratio 1 or below 1 is considered to be the best. Industry PE is 25.8. ROE is 13.23, which is good. ROE between 15 to 20 considered to be the healthy. EPIC is 15.35, which is excellent. Over the quarters, profit is almost same. Next slide, please. Looking at the technical analysis of HDFC, it has a descending channel line trend. It has given breakout in fifth attempt and sustained. We can expect the upward trend now. Our target is 2596, which is just before resistance level, that is 2600. Over to you, Yasha.
So we have
Thank
5
you,
minutes.
Prati.
5 minutes, please
Yes.
conclude. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. The next one is Bharti Airtel. Bharti Airtel Limited is a leading global telecommunications company with operations in 18 countries across Asia and Africa. So further, the company has the market capital of 4 crores, approx 4 crores. It has a PE ratio of 29.07. That is considered to be a decent enough, as the good healthy ratio should be between 20 to 25. The PB ratio for Bharti Airtel is 6.97, which is not healthy, as it should be either 1 or less than 1. Further, industry PE ratio is 21.42. The company has a low equity return on equity of negative 38.41%, and also its promoters holding has decreased over last 3 years. Which is negative 11.23%. Its EPS is rupees in negative, which is 12.27. Further, moving to technical analysis. Yes, the Bharti Airtel share was in a descending channel, and it has given a breakout. And after a healthy breakout, it is now showing an uptrend as shown in the figure. Also, 735 would be the next resistance level as assumptions. Next slide, please. Yes, so the next is Bajaj Finance. Bajaj Finance Limited is the most diversified and profitable non-bank in the country with a wide portfolio. The company has the market capital of approx 2 crores. It has a PE ratio of 59.07. That is considered to be high. Also, PB ratio for Bharti Airtel is Bajaj Finance is 4.29, which is not so healthy. Also, industry PE is PE ratio is 26.4, and it has the ROE of 13.3%, and it is good enough, as it should be between 15 to 20, and its EPS is rupees 263. So now further moving to technical analysis for Bajaj Finance. As we can see in the graph, there was a breakdown going on in the Bajaj Finance share before, and now it's on the resistance zone. It is difficult to break the resistance zone, but even if it breaks, it won't go too high, and it won't sustain for the too long. So if it breaks, it can go till only rupees 7,100. So that's all from my side. Now I would like Siddesh to conclude. Thank you.
Okay, so now let's look at the conclusion of the technical analysis. As all the technical analysis was based on the yesterday's data, तो आज भी एक हमारा सुबह सुबह बजट आया है, उसके बाद भी पूरा मार्केट चल रहा था. So now let's look at how the technical analysis performed. जो इतना भी हमने यहाँ पे बताया, all these were based on the yesterday's data. So now let's look at what is the current situation. जैसे सबसे पहले talking about the Nasdaq, Nifty and Bank Nifty. If you know that Nasdaq is US का index, Nifty and Bank Nifty is India's का index है. So Nasdaq का यहाँ पे हमने completely upward trend देखा है और उसके बाद Nasdaq fall from November में उसने high लगाया था over here. Nasdaq का high. So the same way Indian market खुद के sentiments पे नहीं चल रहे थे. Indian markets were completely following the US market. So you can see हम भी ऊपर ही जा रहे थे, and same way in October and November we created a high, all-time high over here. The same way Nasdaq did with the US market. In the same we started falling just like Nasdaq. So Indian markets में Nasdaq के जैसे only यहाँ पे सिर्फ पूरा copy and paste चल रहा था Indian markets के अंदर. So if you see यहाँ पे जो budget की वजह से यहाँ पे जो downfall आया, which is completely normal. We see this each and every year before the budgets. हम लोग हर साल बजट के पहले अगर देखें तो यहाँ पे एक डाउनफॉल आता ही है, which is completely normal. But what is not normal over here, we can see यहाँ पे बजट का ये जो फॉल आया है उसके बाद we can see an upward rally, which is not normal before the budget. It only came because of the Nasdaq. We can see the Nasdaq का यहाँ पे, this is US का data. This only came because of the Nasdaq. Same way if you look at the Bank Nifty over here, अभी यहाँ का जो recent fall है इसका, यहाँ से जो recent fall, this was the recent high and then we fall over here and then we came back. So if you see Bank Nifty ने completely recovery दे दी है after this fall, but Nifty, if you look at the Nifty after the recent fall, Nifty का recent fall is over, यहाँ पे था recent high, fall हमारा यहाँ पे था, इसके बाद हम लोग अभी तक यहीं पे रिकवर किए. निफ्टी ने सिर्फ हार्डली 4% का रिकवरी दिया है और बाकी बैंक निफ्टी ने कंप्लीट रिकवरी दे चुका. सो अगर निफ्टी को ऊपर जाना है देन बैंक निफ्टी हैव टू गिव अ गुड रैली. नाउ लेट्स लुक एट द सम ऑफ द एनालिसिस दैट वी हैव डन टिल नाउ. जैसे कि आईसीआईसीआई आएगा, वेयर इज द आईसीआईसीआई ओवर हियर, जस्ट अ सेकंड. आईसीआईसीआई, ओके, leave it. Okay, so let's look at what we did yesterday. हम लोगों ने कल के दिन यहाँ पे ऐसा प्लान किया था कि दिस वाज अ डिसेंडिंग चैनल एंड देन वी कैन सी हमने यहाँ पे ऐसा एक पैटर्न क्रिएट किया था. दिस वाज द पैटर्न दैट वी शोड यू एंड देन वी सेड कि यहाँ से ये 6 टाइम यहाँ पे ये ऊपर जाने का ट्राई कर रहा है और ये हम लोगों ने लाइव मार्केट में कल पैटर्न क्रिएट किया था समवेयर अराउंड ओवर हियर. इवन आफ्टर दैट उसने कंसोलिडेट किया एंड देन इट गेव अ ब्रेकआउट. So that means our technical analysis was completely accurate. We showed कि यहाँ पे ऊपर जाएगा and then it will fall again. As you can see this line over here, we showed this means that it will go up, it will fall again and then it will rise again. So this is just a consolidation over here. So as you can see ये ऊपर तो आया, अच्छा खासा upward rally दिया, downfall भी आ गया and at the same level, इतना precise हम लोग का technical analysis, at the same level यहाँ से इसने upward rally फिर से शुरू कर दी. So this was the perfect technical analysis. Now let's look at the HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank में हम लोगों ने यहाँ पे बोला था
we have limited, so it's very interesting that you're explaining, but we have limited time.
I'll complete in like in 5 or 4 minutes. I'll complete in 5 or 4 minutes.
We don't have 5 or 4 minutes. We have already given 20 minutes to you.
Okay, so I'll do 2 or 3 more. 2 more I can do. I'll just skip few of them and I'll just do the HDFC and SBI because we did something special in that. So if I show you the HDFC over here, HDFC mein you can see we said that this is a descending channel and it is a breakout. And then if you remember, then we said our target was 2596, which was just before the 2600 का resistance level. And you can see हम लोग का यहाँ पे आज target complete हुआ है, which was at 2594 and our target was 2596, which is the current high of HDFC, which was exactly precise. This was the best technical analysis. And same thing with SBI, I guess. Yes, SBI, we said 50% retracement with a resistance level of 517 rupees with upward trend. and the target was around 540 and 35. So we saw 35 पे थोड़ा resistance and the target was at 540, which also a very successful cause. हम लोग का 540 का target भी achieve हो गया, and the highest for today for SBI was 543, which was very precise of you. So thank you. I wanted to explain each and every technical analysis that we did, but it's fine. Thank you, everyone.
Everybody, please give them a big hand. Very well done. Very nicely explained, Siddesh. Totally impressed by your knowledge in this area and the way you explained it. Overall, I think the group did a fabulous job. Quickly, 1 minute from the audience.
Ma'am, I want to ask one question to Mr. Anuj Srivastav. Tell us the story behind that background in your back.
Same, ma'am. Same question, ma'am. Same question.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
I
I'm just
think
going with the flow.
This group has the, more technical, it's the more technical topic rather than our topic. And they have an immense knowledge in this domain too. I must appreciate the group that they did so well.
Yeah,
and how beautifully they have portrayed with the help of graph, and they explained so beautifully. It was appreciable.
Yeah, and this is something, technical and fundamental analysis. Technical में चलो भले आप नहीं जाओ, but if you do fundamental analysis of most of the companies, भले आपको share market में interest तो नहीं हो, but you will stay updated with what's happening in the world, because at the end of the day, fundamental analysis is that. So anybody can do
because
it.
it's a very critical part of our economy.
Sorry?
Ma'am, it is a very critical part of our economy, if we see.
Yes. Okay, thank you, group and everybody. Or last group,
Thank you, ma'am.
Gaurav. Yeah, thank you. Alok, you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you keep the time?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Top 10.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
So are we ready? Right. Hello.
Yes. Cherian?
Okay. So, ma'am, can we start?
Yeah. Please start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening to all present here, and a very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Today being the last day for the semester, we are extremely grateful for having that we are amazing this session to wrap it all up. And okay, just like Jack Chan once said, Kung Fu lives in everything we do. And I feel the same thing applies to business. Business also lives in everything we do. And just like the clothes we wear, the laptop we are using right now. And it's even said that business is a war. So a type of war which is fought and won by the most innovative and the crazy minds, which brings us to our topic, the top 10 business ideas. Next slide, please. Right. I would like to introduce my team members over here: Aditya, Dharmeet, Gaurav, Mosam, Nisha, and Sakshi. Next slide. Right. So the table of contents has a list of the business innovations which actually caught our eye, and then we felt which could bring up, which could be implemented in our country at some point of time in the future. Over to you, Dharmeet.
Thank you, Sherian, and good afternoon, good evening to all of you. So I'm starting with our first idea. So the problem what we are facing in India is that more than 51% of the India is facing the water scarcity. Why? The reason is simple: the inconsistent rain, and apart from that, the dripping groundwater level is the most important factor which we have to understand. Now, coming to the states which are highly affected is the Odisha, Nagaland, Gujarat, Maharashtra. When it comes to the Maharashtra, Marathwada, Vidarbha regions are the one who have been affected a lot. And that's why all the women of the houses are forced to travel 10 on an average, it is expected that 10 to 12 kilometer travel. They've just filled their muds on the utensils. They take the water from the bore wells or the wells and they come back to their house, and then they have to make sure that they properly utilize this water without even wasting a drop. And because of that, they have to carry those muds, and there are many physical challenges these women face. The farming activities, all the day-to-day activities like taking showers or cooking is very, very, hectic. And for this problem, there is a one small idea which we can see in the pic, which has been in the at the bottom of the uh, PPT, is that blue color some equipment. We call this as a water ball tank. Now, what are the advantages? Let's see. This tank is spherical in shape, so it is easy to move. You have to just push it down and you just move. You don't have to carry on your shoulders or on the head. So it is very convenient for the women. And it is a very small, compact, container type thing. So it is very easy to, keep anywhere in your house or in your premises. And it is like just fill the water, store it, and roll it. It is a very cost efficient. Unfortunately, this invention was invented few years back, but it wasn't got any big, popularity. So that's why this is the main important point to be highlighted using this PPT as a platform for giving it a popularity. Coming to the second, now this kind of project I have worked on this during my job days. So basically, we all know that in this pandemic, the COVID is having a very bad impact on the human civilization. And what if I say after this coronavirus, there is one more problem standing in front of us is the improper waste management. In India, the biomedical waste is produced almost 126 tons per day, approximately 46,000 tons. It was produced in 2020. And this biomedical waste is not treated. Some rural areas or the backward regions, even some metropolitan city where there is no proper facilities, they just put their medical waste here and there, and they just put up the soil to cover up their mistake. And this has some very great impact on the birds, animals, and of course on the humans also. Currently in India, there are only 198 active waste treatment facilities. So to come up with the solution, there is a uh, machine named as an incinerator. So now what exactly this incinerator do? So we feed all the waste. Mostly the target is the surgical masks, gloves, cottons, and all that. All this waste would be put in this incinerator, and by the using a thermal combustion at the temperature of almost 200 degrees Celsius, we can treat this all the biomedical waste, and the cost is very nominal. And it is a very good source because this kind of machines can be installed in very compact space, somewhere almost up to 50 to 100 square meter. So this is so thank you. This is the idea which I have been presented. Now I request my colleague Nisha to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Dharmit. So our next business idea is vegan bags that is made of vegan leather. So vegan bags are made with absolutely no animal products. This means every part of them, from the covering material on the outside, such as the vegan leather bag, to the very glue that is used, is cruelty free. So these bags are made of vegan leather, which is made from materials such as fruit waste like pineapple and banana fibers. As you can see in this slide, the pictures of the apple leather, mushroom leather, cock leather, pineapple leather, and also grape skins and apple skins, recycled plastic and rubber, and polyurethane. It's a polymer. And some companies also use bamboo to make this leather, like to give a different kind of texture to the whole product. So basically, the benefits of using this product is it is sustainable and environmental friendly, good for the planet. And as in India, we Indians respect animals a lot.
So if we sell these products to the Indians saying that this does not involve any animal product, they will be very much impressed and will be very much encouraged to use those kind of products. As you see that most of the teenagers nowadays are moving towards veganism. They are adopting a vegan lifestyle. So we can use make them use this product to improve their lifestyle, and it also gives a different sort of personality. Okay, so our next business idea is, next slide please, 100 hours fitness gym. So this is a gym which will be 100-hour fitness subscription. Members will have to take 100 hours of fitness subscription, and it will be an open gym. And only during the monsoons, the classes will be under roof or under any place it will be taken. And the speciality about this gym is that in that 1 hour of workout, or the person will get to do all sorts of fitness format. Like when we enroll for a gym, we do only cardio or weightlifting or say yoga or only one sort of exercise. So in our this business idea, the person will be doing all sorts of fitness format in that particular 1 hour, be it yoga, meditation, Zumba, weightlifting, or cardio, or anything. And as we human beings, we tend to get bored by doing a single kind of workout every day, every time. So we skip gym. So we skip our workout, we skip days, we feel like not going to the gym. So by doing this, people will not get bored, and this will be a different concept as compared to other gyms. And as people will not skip gyms, we feel that this concept will be more profitable as compared to other fitness formats. So that is all I have to present. The next slide will be carried on by my team member. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisha. So the business idea that I'm going to present is IoT-based smart parking solution. As we know that finding a parking space in any area has become more complicated as the number of vehicles on the road is rising. Getting parking at the shopping mall or any public places in the urban area is always challenging. This is mainly due to the lack of space or increase in the population of car. So to resolve the problems of car drivers and car owner, this app provides a smart solution for parking, where this apps provide features such as real-time availability of parking, advanced booking, destination navigation, and many more facilities. This app helps to make the hunt for a parking space similar and quicker. The next idea will be presented by Sakshi.
Thank you so much, Mosam. The next one is biodegradable sanitary napkins for women. As we know that sanitary pads are a basic necessity for women, and you will be amazed to know that a single sanitary napkin takes around 500 to 800 years to decompose. On an average, a woman uses up to 10,000 sanitary pads starting from their menarche to menopause. Did you know that there are billions of non-biodegradable sanitary napkins that are clogging India's sewage system, water bodies, and landfills? The sanitary pad commonly used by women contains a substance called superabsorbent polymer, which is SAP, and it does not decompose, which means it is non-biodegradable. They gradually break down into microplastics, which contaminate soil, water, and air. They also enter the food chain, injecting toxins into human foods that we eat or plant consumes. Two of the ingredients which are used in commercial non-biodegradable menstrual napkin are the first one is dioxin, that are used to bleach the absorbent core, and it is responsible for side effects in our body, such as it can cause inflammatory diseases, ovarian cancer, immune system damage, impaired fertility, diabetes, and many more. However, most of them complained of irritation while using regular sanitary pads that are made from plastic. And you would be amazed to know that it is 90% plastic content, and chlorine bleached wood pulp. This is where an innovative business idea have been becoming popular among us, which is a biodegradable sanitary pad. It's basically it is made up of banana fiber. It does not contain any gel, chemicals, synthetic fiber, which causes itching or rashes. These pads are biodegradable and can degrade within 6 months, which is around 1200 times faster than the normal plastic one. Thank you. Over to you, Cherian.
Thank you, Sakshi. Now, before I talk about the actual next business, let's talk about the problem which led to this product, or the things which can probably make you want this product. So imagine all of us having a home wherever we go, and that could simply be because of a number of reasons, right? Like the homely feeling which we keep wanting. We are homesick, and but we actually have to go somewhere, but we want to feel like home. And then because of the security reasons, safety reasons, and affordability reasons, etc. So, and also now is the age where all of us, we prefer having things with us all the time. Like wherever we go, things should be very handy. Like us having a mobile phone, which almost has everything when someone is like alone, and then a watch to track time. But imagine having a house with you wherever you're going. And then the problem, what I would like to say, like bring out over here is when we are traveling also. I think most of like almost everyone knows what they meant as if they want to urinate, but it's very messed up when it comes to a girl who wants to urinate and she has to wait till the other destination wherever we halt. And imagine if it's a place where there are no hotels or motels available and they have to wait. And we all know about what can possibly happen to a human body if we hold it up, right? So this is where the next innovative business comes handy, and it's known as a tiny house. And like we all know that the next other factor like is that land is the only thing, like one of the only resource which which is value like keeps increasing over time. So and also with the factor that the population is also increasing every time, and not that everyone has the same income levels. uh there are like talks where people could shift to this option sometime in the future. Like this was already like adopted by the US, like 20 years back as a product which is just kept in one of the places. But right now they started having this all over the US, and they started naming it as the tiny house community, right? So and then it can also be moved from place to place, and or just like kept in one of the place. So which doesn't require, so basically doesn't need any building requirements like building permits. And it can also be put in any new construction zones, which makes it easily put in any of the forest kind of areas also. And it can also be it is also basically it's made up of structural steel which with chassis is basically a framework which is shaped like a house, which is like completely rust resistant. So there's no wood outside. Wood is only completely inside. So that deals with the moisture. With the different climate conditions outside, wood can get messed up because of that. But since the wood is inside this house, it's like completely safe. And this house can take a wind power of like in 180 kilometer per hour, which is like the best that any normal house can also withstand. And then it is also very eco-friendly and a very cost-efficient product because it has almost all the essential items in just that small cabin kind of thing. It has toilets, showers, 2 to 3 bedrooms, and then a stair, a living room, kitchen, all of this packed in a way that no single space is actually left, unattended. Thank you. That's all about that product. And over to you, Sakshi, again.
Thank you so much, Cherian.
Okay, you
The
have
next
now 15 minutes are over, and I think last 5 minutes, please conclude, okay?
Okay, the next idea is virtual health app. It is another app idea that you cannot miss out. There is no doubt that COVID-19 pandemic has given us a significant change in medical care. COVID made it enter into our life. It was way too dangerous to step out of the house and go to the hospital because of a strange illness that seemed to be harsh on majorly on elders and children. So now the people had no choice that they had to try out the virtual healthcare app and websites where a patient can meet with medical consultant at his or her place instead of moving to the another city. It saves time, energy, as well as money. It also gives the patient the opportunity to find professionals within a second. Therefore, it's a great app idea if you own a medical practice. Over to you, Aditya. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakshi. So this is the business. Sorry, change the slide. Yeah. So this is the business idea I'm going to present. Drop shipping. So it is such a great model for new entrepreneur that because it gets started with a small investment and you can work from anywhere. So what is drop shipping? So drop shipping is a retail fulfillment model that allows you to buy directly from the supplier or manufacturer who will then ship the product directly to the customer, due to which we can focus more on marketing and customer service instead of warehousing and inventory control. So the model works like this. So as you are as a drop shipper, you can choose the product, set the retail price, put it in your website, and you can run the advertisement to attract customers. So as soon as any customer see your product and pay you the retail price, you can then notify the supplier, that is a drop shipping supplier, pay them the wholesale price for the product, and they will ship the product directly to the customer. So there we can see some pros and cons for drop shipping. First one is low overhead. So as said earlier, drop shipping, there is no inventory management required, as it is the biggest advantage in the e-commerce business compared to others, and we just require some investment for creating a website and advertising the sites and products. There is second is more time to focus on marketing. So in dropshipping market, we get an ample of time to focus on marketing strategy for finding a winning combination of product offering and perfect customer service by making regular inquiries and also providing quick customer support. And also there is low order fulfillment cost. And fourth is the ability to test the new product. So while launching a new business or testing a new product, dropshipping gives us more room for experiment. And now cons, so the profits will be lower. So as the dropshipping is sometimes higher, because we can send money on advertisement to bring more traffic to your website, and also dropshipping entrepreneur will most likely pay more for one or few products compared to bulk products, which in turn reduce the profit margin. Second one was the product quality is out of our end, as we are not the manufacturer or shipping the product. So you will not have any control on product quality. So to overcome that, you have regular inspection of the product. The competition is high. So as there is flexibility and low overhead, most of the entrepreneurs have entered the market. So you have to really work hard and also can find market. They aren't oversaturated, but still have healthy demand, which gives you more time to become a leader in your niche.
20
And
minutes
logistics.
are
idea is na.
Ma'am, last group.
Please, last 5 minutes, please.
लास्ट 5 मिनट से 2 to 3 minutes में कंक्लूड करो. हाँ अभी
Okay.
और कोई बाकी है?
हाँ गौरव.
Gaurav, please take care. Gaurav, please take care of that thing.
So yeah, this was from my side. Now Gaurav.
Okay, thank you so much, Aditya. And I know it's really late and people are mostly dozing off or shutting off their cameras. I'm really very sorry for the extended time that it is taken. To be very honest, it's 10 ideas and we are trying to do our best. But let me tell you one thing. There are two slides that are there, and these two slides that have been presented. Yes, ma'am. That's what I mean. These are the two ideas that are being presented here. Is based on biotechnology, and it has won me 2 awards, one state level and one national level. So I'm presenting the same. I'll be presenting in very short. The first one is done with Gul. Please go to the previous slide. The biorefining one. No, yes. So this is basically biorefining. What are we doing here? What is the problem? The problem is e-waste. Thousands and thousands of products are being brought in and replaced by and thrown out. उसके कोई solution नहीं है. It's as simple as that. Solution यही है कि दो तरीके का होता है, एक होता है वी बर्न इट डाउन और दूसरा होता है कि वी ट्रीट इट विद केमिकल्स, बट दोनों ही they're very very harmful to the environment. They create CFCs, they create a lot of toxic things which ultimately leads to motor neuron diseases and cancer. So what is the solution? The solution is microbiology and biotechnology. There are two bacteria, Stromobacterium violaceum and Leptocillium peroxidians, which basically eat out the e-waste and basically extracts the gold that is in the microchip. So basically, I forgot to mention, phone, laptop, tablets, whatever electronic gadgets that we use contain something on microprocessors and chips जहाँ उसके अंदर golds होते हैं. And if we go through by it, then the concentration of gold in e-waste is much more than that has been mined, that is being mined. So if we can use this properly, actually this will be the most sustainable thing that can happen. And you can check it out also on YouTube. And it was a very new concept then when I wrote this paper in 2014. So that's it. Then we go to the next slide. Yes, the liposome mediated drug delivery. So this will take a lot of time to understand. I'll just tell you in a 1 minute I can. So basically, we all know about lock and keys, right? Our cell, every cell, every organ cell in our body contains a lock and a key. And that lock is being opened with a specific kind of lock, and that lock is very, very unique. No other cell in our body has that type of lock. And what is the problem here? The problem is basically to to give medicines that are very very efficient, to give it more efficient, or any vaccination. कुछ भी जब हम use करते हैं, we use syringes or we use oral medication. And trust me, that is one of the most inefficient way to do the same. 30% of the efficacy of the medicine is lost when the medicine is traveling through our blood systems. So what we are offering an alternative. It is called liposome. Lipo means fat, some means ball, a fat ball, जिसके अंदर fat ball के अंदर medicine होगा, drug होगा, जिसको हम either we can digest it or we can orally we can inject the same as you want. सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज यही होगा इसका कि इट विल गो टू द सेल, जिस सेल को हम टारगेट कर रहे हैं, इट विल गो टू द सेल डायरेक्टली. कैसे जाएगा? क्योंकि जो फैट बॉल होगा, फैट बॉल के ऊपर वी विल अटैच दैट पर्टिकुलर की जो उस सेल को खोलेगा. दिस इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट biotechnological advancement that is going to come within the next 15 to 20 years. And trust me, आज आप ये प्रेजेंटेशन अभी देख रहे हो, then you'll remember this presentation कि हाँ ये भी बोला गया था. And it is going to change the face of healthcare industry as well. And also just one more thing, this particular liposome mediated drug delivery is particularly useful in cancer, because cancer का प्रॉब्लम होता है, कैंसरस सेल के साथ नॉर्मल सेल भी ग्रो करते हैं. तो जब वी टेक मेडिकेशन, रेडिएशन लेते हैं, कुछ भी लेते हैं ना, तो नॉर्मल सेल भी डिस्ट्रॉय होते हैं उन लोगों के साथ, जो दैट विच इज वेरी वेरी हार्मफुल. लाइपोसोम टारगेट्स द पर्टिकुलर सेल ओनली जो जिसमें प्रॉब्लम है, तो दूसरा सेल बच जाएगा. So it is very very cheap also, lesser than, if mass production में अगर जाता है तो lesser than a syringe. So yes, that is my two presentations. Going to the conclusion, Dharmit, quick. अब मारेंगे सब लोग मुझे. So no, the previous one, let me say that बहुत कष्ट किया है मैंने. हाँ, तो sustainable business ideas the way forward, मैम. अगर सुन रहा है कोई मेरे को, तो ये देखेगा कि हम लोग ने जो ideas दिया है, basically all are sustainable ideas. कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं था कि there can be a lot of business ideas out there, but the ultimate future is sustainability. Our business ideas, our target audience was from the remotest village to the metro cities, from the poorest man to the wealthiest person in the nation. We intentionally chosen the ESG business models because right now ESG fund जो available है पूरा वर्ल्ड में टू इन्वेस्ट इज अराउंड 35.3 ट्रिलियन. फंडिंग पाना बहुत इजी होगा. वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट, एंजल इन्वेस्टर सब बैठे हुए हैं. प्लान लेके जाओ, फंडिंग ऐसे ही मिल जाएगा. लास्टली आई विल एंड दिस बाय सेइंग, नेवर स्टार्ट अ बिजनेस ओनली टू मेक मनी एंड प्लीज योर शेयर होल्डर्स. स्टार्ट अ बिजनेस टू मेक अ डिफरेंस. Warren Buffett said this in AGM on Berkshire Hathaway. So that's from us. Thank you so much. Dharmit, you can conclude the same.
Thank you so much.
Please give them
so
a
much,
big
ma'am.
hand, all of you. Yes, I think the passion with which you all were presenting, that was apparent. So really well researched, and you really believe in this. as entire group. So everybody wanted to speak, whether it was Gaurav, whether it was Aditya, whether it was Chirian, whether it was Sakshi. You kind of talked about that idea very passionately. So I love that
Man,
about
3 sleepless nights. 3 sleepless nights. तब ये जाके बना ultimately.
उसके आगे ये 26 मिनट कुछ नहीं है.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody please come on camera. We conclude the presentations now. So we have definitely we have concluded the PM sessions with this presentation, and uske pehle wala jo presentation happened, both of them have been awesome by everybody. In fact, I would like to end with this kind of an a message that though I was not with you in the first semester, I never felt that I've really felt that all of you were as close to me as the other class with whom I have been there for the first and the second semester. So you people have been amazing. Like from day one, you've been so participative, and all of you, like, camera, when I say on, and you do keep your cameras on and all. So it has been amazing. I really enjoyed and loved having sessions with you, and the energy, the enthusiasm and sincerity, or jo itna mehnat you all bring here na, that's definitely commendable. And please be the way you are forever. You all are precious. You all are unique, and you all have the capability and potential. I have seen it in you all. So as a group also, अभी आपका last है, because next year तो अभी आप लोग अलग-अलग उसमें groups में बढ़ जाओगे. So as a group, you have been an amazing group, and each of you have my phone number. सबने कभी ना कभी कोई अपडेट देने के लिए मैसेज तो किया है. Please stay in touch. This may be the end of the semester here, but my association with you doesn't end. I would like to receive updates from you. What's happening in your life? Any help you need from me, please connect with me. I would be more than happy to interact. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
So much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And all the
Thank you,
best.
ma'am.
Do very well in your life. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
We all will miss you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much, ma'am.
I'll miss you all also a lot now.
Yeah.
Abhi mera next few months, so I will be like missing, because abhi
I
June.
also miss
And
everyone.
also request Shushant to please take a screenshot of all of us, because it is our last class together.
Yeah, kind of a photo.
This
Yes, I need
Yeah.
the photo too, please. Photo.
Yes, ma'am. Just a second.
Everybody come on
All
camera.
right. So,
सुशांत पहले बोलना प्लीज स्माइल फिर लेना. हाँ.
okay, everybody, say cheese. Second page. Again, say cheese. Yes, ma'am, done.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody.
Ma'am, it's been a pleasure,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
It's been a pleasure
ma'am,
to
it's
be
been-
Thank you,
here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All the best. Take
Thank you,
care.
ma'am. Bye
Very
bye.
well in life.
Bye, ma'am.
God bless.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am.
Bye. Take care.
Pleasure,
ma'am.
pleasure.